Good morning. Today I'm going to show you how we set our water system up for our goats. But before we do that, we got to get the goats moved. So let's get to work. Gotta. Move number 2 for the goats with the new ones. And they're falling right in, no problem. So world's greatest is not here. She's taking care of other stuff, and I'm moving them by myself. Gotta. One thing I've got kind of going on is I've got a nanny that was hung in a tree. She had got up in a tree and was browsing, and I guess when she released, let down or whatever, she hung her foot in the Y of a tree. So I got her loose. There you go. Can you get up now? And it's rough. It's gonna take her a while to get over it. She's swinging it right now. It's swelled up on the bottom, which, you know, that's what you expect. Gotta. Anyway, she's in here, and I saw her a minute ago, and she's still rough. It's just gonna be a long, drawn-out deal. So the reason I'm mentioning her is because she's got to make it before I reset the gates for the water. I need her to make sure she's through here. So that's something that I've got to kind of make sure she comes through. Come on. Yeah, gotta. Come on, ladies. Gotta. I can see some hopping way back there by that round tree right there. There's a hopper back there. That's going to be the one I'm looking for, I bet you. There she is. So she's definitely doing better. She wasn't putting weight on it when I saw her up here, but right down here, she was touching it. So I don't think it's broke. It's swelled up at the bottom, which, you know, if you can see in that video how she was hanging, I can understand that. But one thing that's done is that's opened my eyes to, you know, I've never thought that could happen to the goats like that, because they're so athletic and agile, and you just feel like they can just fly, you know, and nothing would happen. That happens with cattle sometimes. They'll get a head hung and things like that. But what that's doing is making me want to go back and drive this brush over here the best I can, and just make sure there's nothing obvious that I need to help. So I'm going to head back and do that, and then as far as the move goes, it's over. As far as I know, they've all gone through, and I've got one dog that's sitting here. I guess he's the gate guarder. He's just kind of maybe wait there and make sure nothing else is coming, or there may be something in there still. So I'm going to go take a look, and we'll go from there. One thing that we never have discussed with respect to our goats is our water setup. And when you get to, you know, what I consider a sizable number of animals, whether it's goats, cattle, pigs, you know, even chickens, you've got to kind of do some planning for water, because the demand is going to be pretty high. And so they've got to have the water, obviously. It's a health issue and a survival issue. If they don't get it, or if they're struggling for it, then it can affect performance and can actually lead to death. If you've watched and seen some of our videos with the cattle, this very tub right here, we actually had a heifer that got killed in this tub because of a water issue that we had. And it was a sad deal, but you know, it's one of those things that you just learn from it and then you adjust. So with the goats, it was really fairly easy because we were very fortunate that we were already set up for cattle. And that's one of the benefits of having multiple enterprises. We were already set up for cattle to water throughout the ranch. We've got a 2-inch line that runs from north to south and east to west on the ranch. So we can cut into that thing and put a tub almost anywhere. We may have to add a little bit of line in spots if we need to, but we can put a tub almost anywhere. Now what we did when we started with our cattle is we drew out our pastures first, and then we put in our water line and decided where we were going to have watering stations. Now our pastures have all changed because of the flood in 2015. So we've still got our watering stations that we've had, but we are going to need to add some because of how we're re-fencing. Ultimately, the fencing determines where your water goes, is what I'm saying. So because we already had all these set up, all we had to do was figure out how to make it goat friendly. Talked to a lot of different people, read a lot of stuff online, all that kind of stuff. I mean, everybody, you know, you need to cover the entire water source and leave a little hole for them to drink out of. That way they don't fall in and all this stuff. I'm here to tell you don't have to do that. Now what we did was the blocks. We've got blocks inside of there stacked up right where this little doling kid is drinking. Where if they get in there, if they make it back to that spot, they can crawl out. So you can see from that it's not that difficult for the kids to get a drink. It's one of those things that they just learn how to and learn how to survive. It's almost the middle of the day and it's pretty hot. And so I've been here for probably 30 minutes just watching them. And they're just coming in, you know, 10, 20 at a time. And they'll get them a drink and then head back out. Now the recovery for a significant amount of goats is also important. And there again, because we had recovery set up for a considerable amount of cattle, it wasn't a big deal with the goats. So this leads me back to multiple enterprises. Most of you guys probably know that the goats don't really compete a whole lot with the cattle. I think 30%. If all they have is cattle feed, they're going to eat it. Goats are survivors. And same way with cows. If all they have is brush, they're going to eat it. Now they may die, but a goat will survive, at least eating, as long as they don't get a parasite. So the water has worked wonderfully. We do have groundwater in spots that's kind of a backup if we lose our well, and that has been an issue in this heat. So it's good if you can have a backup of what I call groundwater. But if you don't have that, a large storage like this tub, this is an 8-foot tub, a large storage will get you a little while. It may get you overnight if you're here checking your water pretty regular during the summer. So the bottom line is, when you start hearing people talking about the goats, everything is a big issue. Everything. Keeping them in, oh, you can't keep them in. Keep them alive, oh, you can't keep them alive. And I will say that was the hardest thing that we've had to deal with. But it's gotten a lot easier. Water, you got to have special water for them. You got to, it's got to be down so low and it's got to be completely clean. I mean, do y'all see that moss in there? Well, we let them drink out of ponds. It doesn't have to be completely clean. If it's good for a cow, it's good for a goat. So don't make it real difficult if you're wanting to get into goats. They'll do fine. Well, I hope this helps someone figure out the best way to provide water to your goats. There are many ways. Just pick what works best for you. Hey, thanks for watching, and remember, don't make it too difficult.